When you look at our technological advancements, from self-parking cars to speaking face-to-face on phones the size of our hands, to particle-sized medical inventions that can go into our arteries and open them up, you would think, as a civilization, we're at the top of our game and don't have much more to ask for. And in many respects, you would be right. But at the same time, there is so much more demand on us, and expectations are incredibly high. And we must ask ourselves, are we really happy? All the internal friction that we experience day in and day out now can slowly grate at us until we get more and more irritable, anxious, angry, or incredibly sad. We get this way because all we really want to do is be ourselves. But we can't, right? There are all these expectations and demands on us. And when we can't be ourselves, we can fall into depression, which can lead towards a confusing maze of mental illness and physical issues. With nearly 5% of our world's population, that is 300 million people that are suffering from depression right now. It goes to show we don't need more things. We don't necessarily need more gadgets in order to be happy. What we really need is inner peace, and we need it right now. The pursuit of self-contentment, that inner peace, that happiness, cannot be achieved by some gadget or app. It can only be achieved from within. When we don't have that centered and balanced space within us, that smoothness and peace to take off the rough edges of our day-to-day lives, nor the time to truly focus on what matters in life, that's when our suffering can begin and continue. So this leads us to the question, do we really need to meditate? And my short answer is yes. No matter how tech-savvy we become, the you that looks through your eyes can never be automated. And there is no app that can just turn off the tension and stress. There is no switch to flick off anxiety or worry. The only thing, the only one that can truly bring peace to you is you. The chances are that throughout your day you're thinking about your own work or study. And if you're not thinking about your own work or study or situation, you're thinking about somebody else's. Add to that, on your way home from work, you're probably listening to the radio or reading a book or a magazine. And maybe while you're doing the dishes, you're thinking about what you've got to do later. While you're jogging, you're listening to a podcast. While you're in the bathroom, you're flicking through the status updates of your friends on the phone. And when you finally stop moving long enough, perhaps while lying on the couch watching TV, you may actually and eventually drift off. Add to all of that the work, the social, and the familial pressure on your day. You would feel like your head is about to burst. So it's no wonder that by the time you go to sleep, your head is so full of data from throughout the day, racing with information, that if you're lucky enough to fall into an instant exhaustion coma, as opposed to tossing and turning all night thinking about everything, your rest is not going to be as rejuvenating and as beneficial as it could be. You will wake up just as tired as when you went to sleep the night before. So what's the solution? Well, let me give you a little bit of an analogy to help work through this. Imagine your head is like an empty balloon. And all of the information that you gather throughout the day is like the air. So as your day progresses and you have conversations and thoughts and arguments or whatever it might be, your balloon is getting pumped up with air. So imagine with each inhalation of information, the balloon gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Now you'll realize that at some point throughout your day, some may be earlier, some may be later in the day, that balloon is going to be stretched to its absolute limits. If you don't stop and release some of that air throughout the day, it will release it the only way it knows how, which will be likely to burst. And that's that feeling that I talked about a little bit earlier. How do you know you need to release that air? Well, if you snap easily at others, get angry very quickly, go to bed restless, or can't sleep because you're tossing and turning and thinking of things all night long, that means you need to release some of that air from your balloon. But thankfully, the release process is extremely easy, and our ancestors have been doing it for thousands of years, so we have a bit of experience with it, and that is meditation.